Hey, June. I'm getting on the subway now. From here, I'll be heading straight home.
All right, I'll see you soon then. Right now, I'm just in the middle of getting dinner ready. But I already got your towel and everything ready, so you can just hit the shower right when you get home.
Oh, great. I'll do just that.
Dinner for tonight is fried chicken and mashed potatoes. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, June. You're making exactly what I wanted. Just thinking about your delicious fried chicken is enough to melt all the frustrations of the day away.
Well, that's just great to hear.
I can't wait to get home. I'll get to take a nice hot shower and then eat my favorite food. Seriously, just the best way to end the day.
Aw, you're being too much. By the way, do you remember that thing that I've been asking for?
Thing you asked for? Sorry, I don't remember. Was there something that you wanted?
Come on, Tom. Please try to remember. It doesn't have to be that much. But can you help out with cleaning the house a bit?
Oh, you were talking about that? June, honey. Last time we talked about this, I thought we already came to a conclusion. We already talked about how since you're only working part-time, that you get home much earlier than I do. Not only that, but unlike me, you're working a pretty easygoing gig at the bookstore. So me needing to do any extra work around the house was unnecessary.
That was just something that you decided on your own, Tom. I didn't agree to anything like that. And I'm definitely not satisfied with the conclusion that you came to. You're also saying that working at the bookstore is some easygoing job, but that's just simply not true.
Not an easygoing job? Come on, June. It can't be that bad. I mean, it's just a bookstore, right? Not even a popular one at that. Most days, there are barely any customers, right? How bad could it possibly get? The way that I see it, it's a really easy job.
All right. I can see how it might look like it's easy at first glance, but it's really not like that. There are so many extra things that you have to do in the back, and there is barely any time for a break. Every day you have to carry boxes full of books from one point to the next. You end up getting quite a workout. There are plenty of people that are getting lower back trouble just from having to carry around so much all the time.
All right, but still, carrying around some books doesn't make the job that hard. I, myself, have to do tons of desk work every day. But I have to work for 8 straight hours. There's a difference there.
Okay, but do you know how long I actually work for? I know it's called a part-time job, but I'm actually working 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. The difference in the amount of hours between an average 40 hours a week full-time job and my 35 hours a week part-time job is hardly worth mentioning.
Sure. But my full-time job isn't just 40 hours. I have plenty of overtime and Saturday work that I have to do. No matter how you look at it, you're the one that has more free time to work on the house. Am I wrong?
Now, I know that you're working more than me.
If you know, then stop making me say it. Unlike someone who works at some part-time job, I am working hard at my company trying to get money for the bills. I'm always busy, and every time I get off work, I'm completely exhausted.
Tom, we're both working. Maybe not the same amount of hours, but I too get pretty worn out after coming home from work. Since we're both tired, couldn't it be at all possible to ask you to help out around the house? As I said, you don't have to do much. Just a little bit would really go a long way.
Now, June, the work that I bring myself to do every day, slaving myself at the office, all of that is to put food on the table and pay the bills. Are you telling me that after working so hard for us to have the money to survive, that you want me to work even more at home? If I'm going to be forced to work on cleaning the house when I get home, what was the point of even getting married? Working on the house and making sure it's clean. That's the role of the wife. That's what we agreed upon when we got married. So, telling me that you can't handle the duties of a wife is akin to saying that you don't want to be a wife anymore. Is that it?
I didn't mean it in that way at all. But, all right, Tom. I get it. I'll do my best and work on the house by myself.
Great. Now, come on, June. Don't go out of your way to try and complain about things that are already working the way they are. You know that working at a proper job, I work at least twice as hard as you do, right? You also know that I am doing all this work just to make sure that we have food on our table and a roof over our heads. So, after a long day of work, please don't come to me with complaints like this. It'll just make me frustrated. Hey, keep it down. Stop pounding on the windows. You're making a racket. You're disturbing the neighbors with all that noise. More than that, what'll you do if you end up breaking a window?
Then hurry up and unlock the door. What on earth are you doing all of a sudden? You get home and immediately just push me out of the house and lock the door?
What are you talking about? You're the one who is in the wrong here. Stay out there and think about what you have done. I'll give you until morning to think it over.
Think about what I have done? Outside? What are you even talking about, Tom? What could I possibly have done that would warrant being thrown out in the cold?
You know exactly why. Where is my dinner, June?
What?
Do you know how late it is, June? What happened to dinner? Where is it? You didn't even try to prepare anything now, did you?
Is that why you're angry? That's why you locked me out? I messaged you this afternoon saying that you'd have to get dinner on your own. I had to work overtime because of the hours I missed when I had to take that day off a few weeks back.
That's your reason for not having my dinner ready for me? I remember telling you before, and you even agreed, but I'll say it one more time. Working around the house, which includes dinner, is your job.
Tom, I get that, but this was out of my control. I simply couldn't make dinner tonight. I barely got home before you did. Not only that, but when I messaged you, I thought that you'd just go ahead and eat out somewhere for dinner. Why didn't you?
Huh? Why do I have to eat out somewhere for dinner? You're the one who said you'll do your best, aren't you? I mean, really? You're the one who couldn't do what you're supposed to, and yet you have the nerve to talk to me like that. You're not some princess that I'm taking care of. You have a job that you have to do at home.
My way of talking? That's not really what you're angry about, right? Tom, I'm sorry, but I'll say it again. I want to do everything that I can in order to be the ideal wife for you. But with being only one person, and only a certain amount of time in the day, there are things that I simply can't do. It's not because I don't want to. I really do want to be the perfect wife. But sometimes there are things just out of my control. Things like today are incredibly rare, right?
All right, I hear you. So no matter what, you're going to refuse to do the duties that you've agreed to.
I'm not refusing to do anything. I'm just asking you to understand that there are times when I just don't have the ability to do them.
Shut up, Jane. All you're doing is making excuses, and I'm not going to stand for it. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what'll happen if you try and defy your duties as a wife.
Wait a minute, Tom. Aren't you being a little strange right now? Can we properly talk this out? Please, just open the door and let me inside.
What did you say? Why are you calling me strange? You're the one who isn't doing what they promised they would. Stop unnecessarily making me angry after a long day's work. I'm already exhausted as it is.
If you're talking about being exhausted, I'm tired too, Tom.
I already told you, you're in no way near the same degree as I am. I have to work at a proper job, not some bookstore. How many times do I have to tell you? You were just being lazy and had decided to skip out on doing what you were supposed to. Isn't that right?
I've been thinking about this for a while now, but... Seriously, Tom. What happened to you? Why have you changed so much? I mean, right after we got married, you were always helping out around the house when you could. You were always making me feel like you actually valued me.
You talk like I don't anymore. Out in the real world, I'm doing the best that I can to provide everything for you. The reason why I'm working so hard is precisely because I value you. And yet, even though I'm working so hard for us, you're trying to force me to do the housework, and even skipping out on actually making dinner.
I'm only saying that since we're both working, I'd like you to help out a little bit around the house too. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I'm just asking if you could help.
It's strange that you're even wanting me to do anything around the house. Making sure that the house is well kept, everything is running smoothly at home, is the wife's job. That means you, honey. All the other guys I know are not forced to do any housework. That's just the way things are supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that, yet you are talking to me like I don't value you. To me, it's actually you who doesn't value me anymore.
Tom, come on. Why do you have to say that? Everyone's home life is different. It shouldn't matter if that's how other people are doing it. We should do what is best for us. But please, Tom, let's talk inside. Can you open the door, please?
So, June, have you finally thought over what you've done? I'm going for another drink, so you still have some time to think it over. Make sure to think over it long and hard while I'm out. I'm not coming back for someone who isn't actually apologetic. But I'll make sure to come back before too long. So when I get back, I would suggest that you start begging me to let you in.
Tom, where are you right now? I found your mother out on the veranda.
What? What are you talking about, June? What do you mean you found my mom on the veranda?
I mean exactly what I said. I found your mother outside our home on the veranda.
Hey, stop it, June. You're just spouting nonsense. What are you doing? Trying to confuse me or something? It's you who's on the veranda, right? What do you think you're doing? Do you think making up these weird stories will get me to come back and forgive you so easily?
Tom, I'm at the hospital right now. I'm with your sister and her husband. They are looking after your mother as we speak.
Wait, what? Seriously, what are you talking about, June?
Your sister called me a little while ago, asking where your mother was. She was supposed to just stop by our house for a little bit, but she never ended up coming back. She got worried and ended up calling me, asking if I knew where your mother was. Your mother forgot her phone when she left the house, so your sister had no way of contacting her.
Aw.
Your sister says that she wanted to bring us some of her homemade cooking. As you know, I gave her a spare key to the house, so she shouldn't have had any trouble getting in. Apparently, she said that she was just going to enter the house and then leave it for us to enjoy.
Wait, so you're telling me the person that was on the veranda wasn't you?
No, it was your mother! When she arrived at our house, it had just started to rain. So she decided to try and help out and put some of the tools that were out back into the shed. But while she was out there getting the tools, the door was locked and she couldn't get back in. It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who locked her out.
No, you're lying.
I'm not lying. Your sister was concerned, so she decided to come by our house and see if she could find her. She came around the house, but couldn't get into the back. She said she saw something on the veranda, so I left work early to check. When I arrived, I found your mom.
So, wait, you're saying... What happened to her?
It's cold today, and it's been raining ever since she arrived at our house. When I found her, she was frozen cold and couldn't even move. I called the ambulance as soon as I could, and she was rushed to the hospital.
Wow, okay. So that means she's alright, right?
She's surviving. But if we were any later in finding her, it could have turned out much worse. Tom, it's the middle of winter! You know that? It's cold enough to catch hypothermia in the daytime, let alone at night in the rain. What were you thinking? Your first messages. What was that about? Think over what I have done while you're out for another drink? What did I do to make you say something like that?
I mean, when I came back, the house was a complete mess. Thoughts of you skipping out on the housework came racing through my head and, well, I saw someone who I thought was you through the curtains on the veranda. I thought it would be good for you to think it over, so I locked the door.
Tom, do you know what you have done? You have put your own mother's life in danger.
But how was I supposed to know it was my mom? I thought you were just lazing about the house, not doing what you were supposed to, leaving everything in disarray.
Are you kidding me right now, Tom? Are you seriously saying that if it was me, that you'd think it would be okay to do what you did? On a day like this, how could you possibly not know that it's dangerous for someone to be out in the freezing rain for so long?
But you skipping out on chores is also wrong. If you were always properly doing them, I would never have ended up doing this.
The fact that during a time such as this, you refuse to show even a hint of guilt or remorse, but instead sticking to your backward way of thinking is just dumbfounding. You're still talking about house chores? Your mother's life was in danger.
It's because you're putting all the blame onto me. You know perfectly well this isn't all my fault.
Wow. Tom, just stop. I can see whatever I say isn't going to get through to you. Honestly, I don't even want to try and get through to you anymore. I can't stand being around you anymore. I'm done, Tom.
You're done? What do you mean by that?
I want a divorce.
What? You want a divorce? How did you come to that all of a sudden?
How could I not come to that conclusion? I can't handle any more of your backward, chauvinistic ideals. Whether or not you had mistaken her for me, you had locked your own mother out in the freezing rain. But even after finding out about what you had done, you don't think you're wrong in the slightest. I just can't handle being with someone like that.
Now, wait a minute, June. I know that I got carried away, but this happened because you didn't actually do what you were supposed to. You never kept your promises.
You're still spouting that nonsense? That's exactly why I am telling you I want a divorce. I can't be with someone who would do such things. Punish people who don't agree with what you have to say. Time and time again, locking me outside. You've been completely out of line for too long, Tom. I might as well tell you now, but I've already made preparations for a divorce, even before the events of today. I've also already spoken with my lawyer about how to properly proceed.
Lawyer? Why are you suddenly mentioning about a lawyer? Proceed with what?
How do you not understand? To proceed with the divorce. I'll talk to you about the divorce and the settlement some other day. If you have any other complaints or things you want to say, tell it to me then. However, I am not going to be setting another foot in that house.
Wait a minute, June. Please, wait. Are you being serious right now? All this talk about a divorce is just a lie, right? If we get a divorce, what's going to happen to me?
Like I would know? But really, the wife that doesn't value you at all is finally getting out of your life. Isn't that just great? From now on, you can focus on having a nice, happy, wife-free life.
Wait, stop, June. You've got me all wrong. I never said any of that out of malice. I don't actually think that you don't value me. Come on, please come home. We'll discuss it together. Please, I'll apologize too. If you want, I'll beg for forgiveness. Just please come back.
No, absolutely not. Your apologies don't mean anything. They have no value. This is all completely your fault. So take the rest of your life to think it over. The next day, I went straight to the lawyer's office to officially hire the lawyer I had previously consulted with about the divorce. After hearing about what Tom had been doing throughout our marriage, the lawyer told me that I had a wonderful case for divorce and took the case. When Tom's actions concerning the endangering of his own mother's life were put on display for everyone to see during the trial, he became deathly pale. With the reveal, the divorce was said and I had received a large settlement for the mental damages he had caused during our marriage. For him, however, it was actually much worse. All of his horrible actions were revealed to his family. His mother, sister, and pretty much the rest of his family were furious with him, and they had all started cutting ties with him. As far as money goes, since he is just an average office worker, he didn't have enough money to actually afford to pay for the settlement. He was forced to sell the apartment that we owned, then use that money to scrounge up enough to actually pay the settlement. Somehow, his workplace also caught wind of the case and the things he had done. His work environment became hostile, so he ended up quitting. For now, he is living in a run-down apartment, living paycheck to paycheck from a minimum wage job he was able to find somewhere. On the other hand, after the divorce, I started to live alone. I finally realized how abusive the relationship I was in was, and am regaining my independence. I am taking my time and trying to lead a life full of joy and fun over fear. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.